Hello, my friends. Welcome to another edition of the Bidding Questions. And this is a bidding question that was sent to me by a friend, one of the members of the group. So let me find the right screen here. And let's hide the cards for a while before we talk about the full deal. Because the question was this: he held the South cards and he saw this bidding and he asked, what should he do at the second round? So let's analyze the bidding step by step. So he's in second position, not vulnerable versus vulnerable. And over the one diamond opening bid by the opposition, he has a very clear overcall of one heart, even though his heart suit is very bad. It's a 5-card suit, and it's losing bridge to be too passive, silent with this kind of hand, as we will see, because North-South actually put East-West in a tough position, mainly because of the one heart overcall. And then over one spade from West, which incidentally usually shows 5 spades or more, because with only 4, West might have doubled. I think this is the most popular style still in play, that the double of one heart shows exactly 4 spades, and so the one spade bid shows 5 or more. And North preempted with 4 hearts. And then East bid 4 spades, and South was asking what should he do over 4 spades. First of all, it should be realized that the 4 heart call from North is a preempt. And so the ultimate solution to this kind of problem is to multiply your raises, to have different ways of raising. And as we will see, North has a hand that might profitably use some other way to raise besides 4 hearts. But if you don't have that other way, if all your raises are only the natural raises, 2, 3, and 4 hearts in this case, and the Q bids as well, so 2 spades and 3 spades should be heart raises. This is pretty much I wouldn't say uncontroversial, but almost certainly it should be assumed if you're playing with an unknown partner that 2 spades and 3 spades would be heart raises. So 3 spades would show spade shortness and a game forcing hand, a good hand in high cards, and 2 spades over 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, 1 spade, 2 spades should show a general forcing hand, and almost 95% of the cases it would have some kind of heart support. But that's the breakdown of the raises that you should assume with an unknown partner. And that's not enough. Basically, you should have more. But North is preempting with 4 hearts. And one of the goals of preempting in general, that's basically the main goal of preempting, is that of forcing the opponents into a guess. And so it's not always describing your hand, or it's not about finding a sacrifice, even though these are very good things in themselves, and you can profit from them in the right hand. But the main goal of preempting is forcing the opposition into a guess. And the corollary of that is that when they guess, you have to allow them to guess wrongly. In other words, if 4 spades is wrong for them, you can't sacrifice here. And if you do sacrifice here, then you in effect are not allowing them to guess wrongly, because they should double you. And as we see, this is the actual bidding that happened at the table. North-South were not doubled. Luckily for them, they were playing against what they considered to be weaker position, and that probably influenced North into his decision. We'll look at his cards in a moment, but that probably influenced North. And I can respect that as a, let's say, as a strategy against weaker position, to take advantage of the fact that they are unlikely to double you. But that said, it still violates the higher principle of letting the opponents guess and allowing them to pay when they guess wrongly. And so to backtrack a little bit, what should South do over 4 spades? That is a very clear pass, in my opinion. The South has no reason to think of anything, actually. If somebody put a gun into my head and said, you have to bid something apart from pass, I would say, shoot. I can't do it. This is a slight bit of exaggeration, of course, but even so, the very bad heart suit, the no guarantee of diamond tricks. Somebody may have a singleton diamond. It's very easy that somebody West, of course, that West can have a singleton diamond, and in that case, we would have no diamond tricks. But there's no need to hope for a singleton. A doubleton diamond would also be bad news for us. It would limit us to 2 diamond tricks, assuming that they have the ace. So we have one sure trick, the ace of clubs, and some questionable tricks in diamonds, and partner preempted, so he can have 0 defensive tricks. So doubling them is out of the question. And as for bidding 5 hearts from the South position, this is also a big mistake because of the balanced nature of our hand. And balanced hands shouldn't be overactive in competitive auctions. And so South clearly made the right choice, in my view, to pass. And then North bid 5 hearts regardless. And now I think it's time for us to see the whole deal. Let's look at North's cards first. As I said, the 4 heart bid with his cards is not ideal, because North is too strong for a 4 heart bid. That should be preemptive in nature. He has at least one extra honor. He would bid 4 hearts without the ace of spades or without the king of clubs, easily, without any qualms. And actually, he should bid 4 hearts without both of them, without the ace of spades and the king of clubs. But that should not be the expectation, right? 0 in high cards, because hands that are so weak are rare. And so I think it's reasonable and appropriate for South to expect that North can show up with one defensive trick in this kind of bidding, at most. And North has a little bit more than one, because the king of clubs is an unproven value, but sometimes it will be a trick, sometimes it won't be a trick. And so it's worth less than 1 full trick, more than 0 tricks. So the value of North's hand in defense is greater than 1 defensive trick, and therefore his bid of 4 hearts is heavy. He has a clear maximum for it. Now notice one other interesting aspect of this bidding is East's decision to bid 4 spades, which is, of course, questionable, let's say. But I have sympathy for a player with 4 cards support for partner, and having to bid something. He should pass. Let me be clear about this. I don't think he should bid 4 spades. His values are in the opponent's suit, and if he will make 4 spades, partner has enough to reopen 4 hearts with a double, and then you can take it out for 4 spades. Partner shouldn't be passing out 4 hearts with like 10 or 11 high card points, and he probably needs more than that to make 4 spades. But that said, he should pass. But I have sympathy. I always have sympathy for somebody who, when faced with a tough choice, decides to raise partner. Raising partner is a good, wholesome, healthy practice that should always be encouraged. And the point that I wanted to make here is that the 4 heart bid gave him this problem. And so preempts work by forcing the opponents to guess. And you have to allow them to go wrong. And they did go wrong in this case. And 4 spades would go down 2, losing 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, and a spade. And 5 hearts goes down 3. And luckily for them, they weren't doubled. But even so, we are talking about a swing of in the 200 to 300 point range. And if they had doubled, it would have been a 600 to 700 point range swing. It's a major swing. If they had doubled, as they should, East has a clear double. Having bid for spades, he should, with ace king of hearts, 2 tricks. And if he hoped to make 4 spades, he has to hope that partner will win at least 1 trick, right? And so to be consistent, East should double 5 hearts. Would be a disaster for north-south. But the story ended not, I wouldn't say well, but not as badly as it could have been for north-south because of this non-double. But the lessons here are for both players, north and south, not to sacrifice with balanced hands. And since North didn't have a bid that described his hand better than 4 hearts, thereby allowing him to subside to partner's decision, if he wants to bid something, he should double 4 spades, showing more than expected in defensive tricks, which is what North has. So a double from North of 4 spades would show a preemptive hand, because he showed that already. He can't unshow it. 4 hearts is preemptive. So a preemptive hand, but with extra defensive tricks. And what's the worst that can happen if North doubles? Partner has a weaker hand and they make 4 spades doubled, and you lost 5 imps. If this is an imp, competition, which it was. No big deal, okay? But on the other hand, if they go down 1 or 2, which is the case here, doubling from North gives a very handsome profit. So in effect, punishes the opponents properly for misguessing, which is the name of the game. And so I think that's basically it. Oh yes, I wanted to mention what I would suggest in experienced partnerships. So handle this with care. That what's coming next, handle with care. This is for experienced partnerships. What should North bid instead of 4 hearts? So you should, as I said earlier, I am developing a course on high-level competitive auctions. And one of the lessons there is about multiplying your raises. So having more raises, more ways to raise your partner. And there are a lot of idle bids that can be used as raises. And the one that I recommend in this auction, 1 diamond, 1 heart, 1 spade, is 3 no trumps, which has no urgent need to be natural. If you have a natural bid of 3 no trumps, you can pass or double. 1 spade is forcing. So you'll have a natural bid of 3 no trumps opposite a non-vulnerable 1 heart overcall once every century, something like that. It's very, very, very rare that you will have the kind of hand. I can't even imagine it. But let's say it's possible, even if barely, that North has a natural 3 no trump bid. After this auction, 1 diamond, 1 heart from South, non-vulnerable, can be a very weak hand. 1 diamond, 1 heart, 1 spade, and North wants to bid 3 no trumps to play to make 9 tricks in no trumps. He can wait, he can pass or even double, depending on his agreements on what the double means. Or bid 2 diamonds, depending on his agreements on what 2 diamond means. He can do something else. And therefore, 3 no trumps is indeed idle. And what I suggest in this kind of auction is that 3 no trumps means a raise to the 4 level with defensive, more defense than expected. So that, let's say, you would bid 4 hearts without one of these honors, and with both of them you bid 3 no trumps, and basically you're telling partner, well, if they bid more, I have shown you that I have extras, and in this case now South can double 4 spades, knowing that partner has 1, 1.5, maybe 2 defensive tricks for his bid, and he has some expectations. Again, the cost is small. The cost of doubling them and allowing them to score the game is small, and the advantage is great. So that was it for this edition. Thanks for sending the questions. Keep sending the questions, and I'll record videos as I can. Okay, bye-bye.